Um, when you join our team, you were assigned a login to our Bittrex 24 system, which is here under Greatest Lab 24. So once you're logged in, you see your activity stream. In this activity stream, you can send messages to other team members or to everybody. I have Vladimir, who is the person who handles the CRM, so he's, so to speak, your support guy. Reach out to him. You can send him a message here, by picking him from the list here and sending him a message, have a chat dialogue. You can even speak to him. You can do a call, a voice call after you say, hey, are you available? I have a question. He speaks pretty well English, so there's no problem to communicate with him, but he's overseas, so he's usually there until 4 p.m. in the afternoon or so. So you can reach out to him with any questions if I'm not available. Usually try to get him involved first. If you really run into any hurdles or so, please feel free to let me know, but he's your go-to guy, okay? All right, so activity stream, you can figure it out. You can play with it. There is a wiki area. If you have not received the link, I will send you the link. I don't want to go in there now, but there's a lot of training videos and a lot of support material there. We have created a little mini library. All right. The first thing, the main thing that you want to do, of course, is go to your leads. So this is under CRM. You go to your lead panel, and here it is. So you have a couple of options. Primarily, you want to stay in the leads view right here. Here we have a big filter. You can set up different filters. You can customize these tabs with certain filters, like, salespeople, who I want to look up. Now, this is my view, but you don't need that. For example, you want to see who did I modify today. So you can create, for example, a filter that says everything that I've modified today, in case you lost the lead, you don't know where it is. Now you can see the list of 30, 40, 50 leads that you have worked on today. So the way you set up a filter is by, for example, create a new filter by naming it, let's say, test one. So we just call this filter. Now I can take stuff away here, or I can add something. So I can add from this drop down, what do I want to filter by? Modify.
Wolf,
Yes.
the screen isn't changing from the 5-minute break on mine. I don't know if that's the same for others, but I'm not seeing what you're telling us.
Oh, really?
No, it's
Yeah, I just have 5-minute break up there still.
What about you guys? Oh,
that's fine for me.
Oh,
Now,
Yeah,
yeah, I had it. Now I have it, Wolf. I have it.
is there anything I need to do? I mean,
maybe log in and log back out or something.
yeah, okay. All right.
Everybody else sees the screen?
yes.
Oh, okay. And it changed, right? You saw my click-throughs?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right. I'll log back out.
Okay. All right, so let's continue. So you can set up various filters here. You have a lot of options, as you can see. Maybe you want to search by a certain state. Maybe you want to filter by type and by state. So you can do a couple of options here, and you can play with that. All right. Once you're in the list view, and again, this can be customized. You won't have responsible person there, so you can maybe move the state column first and stuff like that. You can also initiate the dialer directly from here. So these are clickable numbers. They will initiate a dialer. Let me just do this right here so you can see. I hang up. And for example, you see on the pop-up when the dialer pops up, you can now speak, the dialer runs, so you can click on that name. Let me try it one more time. So once it connects, now you can click on that name and go to that record. Once you're in the record, so I'll simulate that. Like we're calling somebody picked up, you're starting a conversation, it brings you now to that record. So here's the record. The blue area, we can edit directly. I usually suggest when you start talking to somebody, to click simply on edit, and that brings you in the edit mode, which now allows you to easily scroll up and down and really have access to all the details that you need, and I will walk you through this right now. Okay, so here's the lead name. The lead name in many cases could be a doctor, but we're not always sure. So actually when we scroll further down, I'm not sure if it is here, I don't have always the title for each record, but anyways, so you have the company name if you have it, first name, last name, and now it becomes interesting with the phone numbers. The phone numbers, of course, are very important. They allow you to call back to make sure that you're reaching somebody. And for the fax number is that if you have the correct fax number, we can put something physically in their mail right then and there 2 minutes later or while you even speak to them. So the point is that this becomes very important, that these numbers are correct. What we're able to do is select multiple phone numbers. So you can use the work number, and maybe you can actually add a second one. So see, you can add another work number, you can do a fax, you can add a mobile number. And they need to be formatted in this way. So the phone number needs to be formatted +1, and then the area code. And you can format it like this, or you can even change the formatting a little bit. Let me just do this, for example. You can do dashes as well, so this is fine. This was just imported like that. And it can be even a dash here or something. It doesn't really matter. When it comes to the fax number, it's quite important that the number is exactly like this. Otherwise, the faxes are not sent. We're using very customized email to fax service. So we're basically emailing this, and then the whole email gets converted into a fax and is being retrieved by the office manager, the nurse. So the fax number here is incorrect. So what we need to do is we need to fix it. So it's 1410. Now, in many cases, this doesn't need to be done. If we're importing a new batch, this just happened to be a couple of items that we haven't fixed. But just make sure that this has been updated. All right, so this is that. If you have an email, type in an email. You can add multiple more emails. If it's a home or other, you can just specify that. But what we're doing is we're emailing to everybody. So if you have 2 or 3 email addresses, maybe one from the doctor, maybe one from his secretary, let's just put them in there. Let's email them all, because once you speak to them, once you have them on the phone, you don't have to like hang up or say, oh, maybe she received it. You know that everybody got it. So now it's easier to really determine and find that paperwork in the office so you can start with your close. All right. Now it becomes interesting, the status. So after you hang up, after the conversation is done, what is this? Is it a dead lead? I will purge dead leads usually once a week. So these are the leads that we're not interested and not sure, whatever. I mean, I don't mind marking somebody a dead lead if you really just don't have a feeling that this could lead anywhere, because we have so many leads. There's so much potential out there. Don't get hung up on these leads, okay? Just rather go to the next. If there's no answer, maybe worth to try back one more time. Busy, usually it's not that often. If you reach a voicemail, I leave that up to you. I mean, we have a very powerful phone system. So you can leave your 800 number and your extension, and people can call you back, and it goes in your voicemail box, and we have it forwarded. We can do all sorts of things with our system. Again, it's a question on, do you want to leave a message? Maybe you want to leave a message after you call back the second time or whatever. Get the feel for it. Maybe if it's a physician's actual voicemail box, maybe yes, maybe you do want to leave a message. So you'll be the judge. Now we're going to cold leads. What I mentioned earlier, cold leads are the ones I would say that, you reach them, maybe they say call back, just something where it just doesn't feel warm and fuzzy. Warm leads, though, that's where you establish some kind of rapport. You're updating the records, says, yeah, send us some information. That I would mark as a warm lead. Somebody you really want to push until you get that yes, hopefully, or at least a no. Until you get that no, that's still a potential lead that is worthwhile to follow up. Even if it's 2 or 3 weeks later, you might just out of the blue call back, and you might catch them at a sunny day where they finally have a freer mind, or they heard something, or they read something in the news, So don't give up. Hot leads, mark those, the ones that you maybe spoke to the doctor possibly. He's maybe waiting for something to get in the mail. The ones that you really feel like there's a really good shot that we can close them with some persistence. Because your time very soon, depending on how much time and effort you will invest, will get very quickly gobbled up with return phone calls. So you qualify them. Move the cold leads to warm, or move the cold leads to dead. And the warm leads, make them hot. If not, don't waste in the future too much time following up. We have an automated process. Do not rely on this completely or solely, but you know that stuff goes out. Currently, our email campaign runs for 2 or 3 weeks. We'll be expanding that. I mean, it will be ultimately a continuous campaign. So there's kind of a scale up there where we mail them every 2 days and fax them even every 2 days at the beginning, and then we're kind of going down in the second week. In the fourth week and fifth week, it's maybe once a week or so. But I'm a big proponent that once a week is definitely not too much at all. And so that's what we'll be doing ongoing. So who knows, 2 months later, you might get that return phone call or that email reply saying, look, we're ready, let's talk. So, all right. And then, of course, junk leads, pretty much like dead leads. I mean, it's pretty much the same. All right. This is something that's being automatically filled in by the system. There's a data sign, so we don't need to worry about that right now, and we're working on this right now. So I will explain that once it's ready. This is something in production. All right, what you will do is, now that you have marked the lead, updated a record, again, we have more information on here. Gatekeeper name, who is that, who picks up the phone, assistant secretary, that's the one that's closest to the physician. The one that he has around, she's with him for several years, she knows his ins and outs, you know what I mean? So that's the one you want a friend. That's the one you want to build a trust with. So get her name, because it's not the gatekeeper. The gatekeeper does not make any decisions. She can just say yes or no to maybe mail something, but you need to know that it's being handed over to the right person. The medical director, of course, if you hear that name, that's somebody to speak with. It's usually from a little bit of a bigger organization, so definitely somebody to pay attention with. Again, the email fields above allow you to put in more emails. All right. So now, what are we triggering? You need to trigger a campaign depending on what information do we have. If we have a fax number, yes, we do want to trigger a campaign, but I want to make sure that this fax number is updated before the campaign is triggered, that everything is correct. The same with an email address. Make sure the email is correct, that you type in the gmail.com and stuff like that if you hear it over the phone. We will receive bounce messages and all that stuff, so I will have that separately handled. But of course, if you do get an updated email, make sure it's correct. All right, so now the fun part comes. What we're able to do is, when we do want to send a fax campaign, we simply switch it to yes. That automatically will trigger the fax campaign and will change this, will change that status. Hold on a second, let me think if I want to trigger this right now. I don't want to update this record. It's okay, you get the idea. You simply mark yes, boom, and it triggers the fax campaign, and that's all you need to do. In case the fax number changes, let's say you call back a week or 2 weeks later and they say, hey, you know what? Actually, I gave you the wrong fax number. It's not 48, it's 49. Okay, so what you do is you mark the fax campaign no, because it was already sent, and then you trigger it again to yes, boom. So that will allow us to, again, start the whole process. The same with the email campaign. Again, you can send it, you can trigger it, yes. That will update it and it will show you that you know visually, yes, they starting to receive the email messages. Now, you can also stop the campaign. So in case you get a call, they're complaining or they're emailing you back, don't send me anything, mark it a dead lead, but let's stop it. Let's stop emailing them, okay? Now, we have just developed a few days ago another component that is kind of cool, which allows you to send an immediate fax while you're on the phone with them. So while you talk to Betty and say, look, I faxed you last week, you didn't get it. Okay, let's do this. Let me send you our Y-Perform pharmacogenetics testing page and the Get Started page. And what you can do is just simply highlight this and then select immediate fax send, and then it will be actually if you highlight this and you say yes, then it automatically triggers when you hit save down here. So, okay, now when it comes to the address, that's the next big thing that we do want to check, because I will send them out an actual physical binder that I will show you in some photos next week. It's a beautiful spiral ring binder that we're actually preparing here, a color document with glossy outside and everything to really make an impression. So the key is, just it's an interesting phrase, the right medication for the right patient with the right dose. This is really what pharmacogenetics does, right? So this is a little bit, patients need it, insurances pay it, and then we have a whole bunch of documents and nice printouts and all that, and the abstract that I spoke about is all in there, and that's something that we'll be mailing to them. So please make sure that the address is updated correctly. I mean, you will have the address, it's just basically double checking, say yes, that's correct. Okay, great.